Hello, my name is Kurt Coble, Artistic Director of Studio 7 Productions. I am speaking to you from the Education Wing of St. John's Lutheran Church in Mamaroneck, New York, current home of the New York Robotic Music Center. Surrounding me are members of the PAM Band, which stands for Partially Artificial Musicians. What started as my hobby is now an international innovative educational program featuring adaptive musical instruments. In a few minutes, I will be joined by some wonderful human musicians in the beautiful sanctuary upstairs for today's Zoom concert. It will be my honor to welcome back the eminent violist Ron Lawrence, distinguished cellist Garo Yellen, and the illustrious Dr. Chin Kim, who some of you will remember his powerful performance of the Bach Chaconne at the 2019 Bach concert. The first piece on the program today is Spring by Antonio Vivaldi. First published in 1725, it is far more popular today. To delve into the long list of reasons would take days. But for now, we'll just agree that the composers of the Baroque era were experimenting with many of the sonic elements that we take for granted today. Things like chord progressions, four-part harmony, and all the rules that make music a language. There is logic and meaning in how the notes and rhythms are organized, expressing emotions that have not changed much over the centuries. Vivaldi was quite aware of the need to inform the listener of his theatrical intentions. Much was written at the time in a treatise called The Doctrine of Affections, which was based upon the belief that there are intrinsic elements embedded in the organized sounds that produce involuntary responses within the mind of the listener. Ironically, this is the same belief held by the 12-tone composers of the 20th century. Unfortunately, they created a lot of music that no one really likes. There is a sonnet that was meant to accompany the music to help guide the listener to imagine the images that Vivaldi was attempting to capture, much like a Rosetta Stone, to translate these musical tone poems into relatable situations. Allegro, Movement 1. Springtime is upon us. The birds celebrate her return with festive song, and murmuring streams are softly caressed by the breezes. Thunderstorms, those heralds of spring, roar, casting their dark mantle over heaven. Then they die away into silence, and the birds take up their charming songs once again. Largo, Movement 2. On the flower-strewn meadow, with leafy branches rustling overhead, the goatherd sleeps, his faithful dog beside him. Allegro, Movement 3. Led by the festive sounds of rustic bagpipes, nymphs and shepherds lightly dance beneath the brilliant canopy of spring. A few years ago, I was very lucky to find an original edition of The Doctrine of Affections at a yard sale in Kersey, Pennsylvania. That was only $5. I also bought this bullion cube of wisdom, The Art of War, an invaluable source of useful information for performing concerts in Philadelphia. Since we're on the subject of books, please allow me to introduce my new book called Great Viola Jokes, Volume 1. With such classic punchlines as, "Where have you been?" Or, "It burns longer." And my favorite, "The maestro came to my house." There is an entire chapter unveiling new research proving that the viola actually evolved from the duck call family. Hey, I didn't start this fracas. Vivaldi did. In the second movement of Spring, Vivaldi writes in the score that the viola should imitate a barking dog, thus establishing a tradition that is still very much alive and thriving. Well, this mean-spirited humor ends today because there are originally 2 violin parts in the accompaniment in addition to the barking dog. In order to arrange this piece for string quartet, we need the viola to cover the missing violin part and give the cello the viola part. Convenient to do so because the cello was originally tacit during the movement, probably giving instruction to the viola player in proper barking technique. Considering how cellists have to drag around this heavy, massive thing, they have to buy a separate seat for it on an airplane. So I wrote in the cello part, "Bet you wished you played the piccolo." Okay, let's get this concert started.